Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be here with you all for World Ovarian Cancer Day. I've been a comedian for over 25 years, and the question I'm asked the most is where I get my material. And I get it living life. Good or bad, my humor reflects my experience, whether it's something that happens at the grocery store or being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I stress ovarian because the breasts get all the glory. And don't get me wrong, I have breasts, and I have friends and family who've had breast cancer, so I desperately want to find a cure for breast cancer. But every once in a while, my ovaries would like to get a little attention. But my cancer journey started in 2013 during a routine checkup. The nurse practitioner was examining me, and we were making jokes about getting older, when all of a sudden she got to my abdomen, and all the blood drained out of her face, and she said, "You have a huge mass." The next week, I was in surgery. My college roommate was the nurse anesthetist who put me to sleep, and I suddenly became extremely grateful that while I was goofing off in college, she was studying. But it was great having her there because she later gave me a play-by-play of how it all went down. She said that she'd given me enough anesthesia for a 4-hour surgery because that's what my doctor anticipated, and that he had diagrammed me from breastbone to pelvic bone in a cross. But when he made that first vertical cut, my right ovary came flying out the size of a cantaloupe, and then my left ovary popped out the size of a grapefruit. Turns out my muffin top was a fruit salad. And I travel all the time, which means I go through those x-ray machines at airport security a lot. Don't you think that at some point a TSA agent would have pulled me aside and said, "Lady, I don't see a bomb, but you're packing a fruit stand. Call your doctor." 4 weeks after that, I started chemotherapy, and I was a college athlete, so I thought, I'll breeze right through this. That was the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I salute anyone who has slayed that dragon. In fact, I sent a letter to the head of Homeland Security. I said, next time you're interrogating a terrorist, forget waterboarding, give him a round of chemo. Check on him in about 3 days. He'll take you to his leader. But on my worst days, my friend Christy would put on Kelly Clarkson, "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger," and we would dance. Now, when I say that I danced, I mean that I shuffled around the room. I certainly don't want to give the impression that I twerked my way through chemo, or that I was hooked up to the IV going, "Watch me drip, watch me nay-nay, watch me drip, drip, watch me nay-nay." I did not have that in me. But cancer really has taught me so much. Like, never order a wig on the internet. I ordered the Jamie Lee Curtis Pixie, and what they sent me made me look like Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny. And I see other cancer patients tie a scarf around their head and look like a fashion model. When I did it, people asked me to read their palms. And of course, the very last hair to fall off my body was Gladys, my devoted chin hair. And when I finished my treatment and my hair started coming back, guess who was first back on the scene? Cancer has also taught me to live every day as if it's my last. Of course, that upsets my family because every day I call them and say goodbye. I also learned that chemo brain is real. About 3 weeks after my last treatment, I was on my way out of town. I pulled up to the drive-thru at SunTrust Bank, and the teller said, "How may I help you?" And I said, "I need to pick up my prescription." And the second it came out of my mouth, I realized where I was. And I said, "And I was wondering if you'd run down to Walgreens and get it for me." You're the one always bragging about customer service. And a conversation with me has become like a game of charades. I was trying to think of this actor's name, and I said to my friend, "Oh, you know him. He has dark hair. He was in that movie. Oh, you know the movie. He married what's her name? She was on that show with those other girls, and they were in New York. Couldn't come up with anything. And then 3 days later, I'm standing in line at the grocery store, and out of nowhere, I go, "Matthew Broderick." And some days I'll be standing in the shower. I won't know if I've washed my hair or exactly where I am in the cleansing process. And I have literally been digging through my purse looking for my cell phone while I was talking on it. I can't find my phone. I don't know what I've done with my phone. And my friend goes, well, just talk to me on this one till you find it. Okay, so most of that was happening before cancer, but I'm sticking with the chemo story. But one thing that really surprised me on this whole cancer journey is that I thought that I was on the other side of menopause when I was diagnosed. But removing my ovaries threw me right back in it, and I mean worse than ever. You know, my favorite movie when I was growing up was The Wizard of Oz. But now that I've gotten older, it's come to have a much deeper meaning to me. I mean, when I was a kid and the Wicked Witch screamed, I'm melting, I thought she was dying. Now I know she's having a hot flash. She's going through menopause, that's why she's trying to kill everybody. I've seen the time when I wish I had me some flying monkeys, I tell you that right now. And I know why they call them hot flashes. Because when one hits you, you don't care who you flash. And I was reading the other day that the only two species on planet Earth to go through menopause are female humans and killer whales. And I'm guessing they weren't killer whales until after they went through it. I'm sure they were fun, outgoing whales with full lips and a good metabolism. And I always like to take just a moment to share with the men in the room and help you to understand the women in your life just a little bit better by telling you the difference between a woman with PMS and a woman going through menopause. A woman with PMS will kill you. A woman going through menopause will force you to take your own life. And guys, you're welcome for that little heads up. But laughter is such a great tool with dealing with any type of adversity. And I have to say that if there is such a thing as an upside to cancer, it's that it puts things in perspective and we will learn what's really important, which is how we treat each other. I have a friend who works at a nursing home, and she was telling me a story about 3 ladies who lived there, all well into their 80s. They had known each other their entire lives, but for 40 years they barely spoke because of political and religious differences. But now they sit around the nursing home and they laugh and play games and tell stories and just love each other. They're best friends. I truly feel blessed that cancer came calling and forced me to face my mortality and gave me the opportunity to assess my life and realize before I was in my 80s that loving, laughing, lifting each other up, that's what matters. I want to thank you again for joining me on this World Ovarian Cancer Day. And I wish you all health, happiness, and humor. Thank you so much.